This episode contains strong language and discussion about eating disorders, which some viewers may find distressing. The information shared in this episode is based on personal research and experience. If you've been affected by the themes in this video, remember you're not alone and support is available. Please check the links in the description for help.
I didn't realise, and I'm realising it now, and it's really hard for me to admit it actually, like out of my mouth, is like I've totally been seeking validation from white men because of my childhood. And because the only men that made me feel ugly were white men when I was a kid. I almost went the other way, and now I've been like, over the last few years, been finding myself really trying to seek that validation from them. Tell me I'm beautiful, because for 18 years of my life, you told me that I was ugly.
Mahalia.
Hello.
Gorgeous angel. Thank you so much for coming and talking to me.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited to have this chat with you.
Same.
I feel like you have been having so many conversations about body image. You did a fucking fantastic poem.
Thank you.
At your showcase the other day.
Yes.
Can you tell me, where did that poem come from? What inspired you?
So the way that I kind of wanted to set the poem out, well, it's funny because at first when I was writing it all in first person. It was like me being like, I had this and I had this. But then I switched it, and the first half of it, basically I'm out loud reading the comments from men. So it's like, she should get a breast reduction. I heard she had a bit of liposuction. I heard from someone that I know that she was a bitch, and like just all the little comments that I've heard. So like almost like speech bubbles. That's how I made the first half. And then there's this bit which is cute when I'm kind of like, because one thing that I've always been really frustrated about is that people don't really, when they're commenting on me, they're never talking about my music. And I'm like, guys, this is why I'm here. Like, I'm here to be this artist and be this person. And I would love for you to one day, like even if you say my music's shit, comment on the music. Like, stop commenting on what I look like. So the poem kind of starts with all these different voices and men talking, or like letting loose on my body and the way I look and the way I am. And then it kind of goes into the second half, and I say, like one of the guys says, what do you think about her pen? And then the other guy goes, her music, bro, we're men. And then he's like, we don't need to think. No, we don't need to listen. We just need to see. And then it goes, hi, I'm Mahalia, and the girl you're talking about is me. And then the second half is basically me, basically just really very clearly outlining like, yo, I've been here for 14 years with you lot doing this. I've been in 4 years of therapy, and that 4 years of therapy cannot fix all of that. And then I think the main point for me was like, I think my favorite line is when I say, so okay, what tends to happen is guys will comment, I'll comment back, and then they delete their comment. So they just disappear. And my favorite line says, if only when you left you could take the damage too. And it's like, for me, I don't know if these people realize like, you've just thrown a dagger at me. It's come into my skin. I've pulled it out. You've left, and I'm holding the murder weapon, you know? And now I've just got to keep it. And like, what do I do with it? You know? And even if I throw it away, I still have this scar in my skin. So I'm really proud of it. I'm really proud of the poem and the way that it came out and the way that it was put together. And I also just think it was like the easiest way to get it out. Sometimes just say, this is what they said. Like, these are the literal comments that I have screenshotted, you know?
That's such a powerful image.
Yay.
Of, like, the dagger and the wound.
Yeah.
I think what I felt from you reading it, like, was almost like this power, like this internal, like it was so self-assured. It was so like, yes, this is the reality. And also like sticking up for yourself and your younger self.
Yes.
Which, I mean, I know that you haven't always been this self-assured and this like comfy and cozy in your body.
Yeah.
So take me back to when you were like younger.
When I was a beba.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So when did you first become aware, I guess, of like your body image?
I went through puberty really early.
Okay.
So early, actually. It was a bit, I think I was quite freaked out in like, I want to say like year 7 and 8. Like I remember being like 12 when everything started growing and changing. And at that point, I thought I was going to be an athlete. which is really cute when I think about it. But I was quite gangly as a kid, and I was always quite tall compared to my other girlfriends. And I was a 200-meter sprinter.
Okay.
And that's what I wanted to do. And then my boobs came. And they didn't stop coming. Ooh.
And everything changed.
Everything changed.
Okay.
The boys changed.
Yep.
The girls changed.
Yep.
I could no longer share clothes with my friends, which I think was like, maybe at that age, like the main thing that made me be like, no, I don't want this to happen. But I think probably like the biggest thing that made me feel the most uncomfortable probably was just male attention, unwanted male attention. And, you know, and it also meant that I was getting attention from older boys, which really, knowing me now, like, and like thinking about me then, it was like really not the girl that I was. I really didn't care about boys. I definitely enjoyed like fancying guys and holding their hands and stuff, but I didn't want my body talked about, you know? I didn't want boys like slapping my bum in school, which definitely happened.
Of course.
I also was one of 2 brown-skinned girls in school, so that kind of came with its own thing. And then when you add on, now I've got boobs and I've got this bum that's growing, and I'm in a school with predominantly white boys, I think I also struggled with that, maybe, you know?
Yeah, speaking the language.
Yeah, and just, wait. I need to know about you though, because I want this to, I need to connect today. I need to feel like we're like,
babes.
You know?
Yeah, I feel like we have
the same thing.
some similarities. Yeah, I was like the only mixed race girl in my year, like all white area. And I think when you're young, one of the first things you notice is like difference.
Yeah.
Like, what are your differences? And I immediately was like, right, I'm bigger, I'm thicker, like I'm stockier.
Yeah.
And I'm brown, no one else here is.
Yeah.
So immediately aware of that. And then, as you said, like as you get older and go through puberty, people start to fetishize you and you're called exotic.
Which is crazy.
Every day of the week.
I was called exotic recently.
Oh, as a compliment?
I think so.
How do you feel about it as a compliment?
The word is mad. The word, it's actually such a like mental word and so complex, because I'm like, really? Like exotic is the word that you're going to use in 2025?
Yes.
Exotic, I don't know. I think it depends who it's coming from. I definitely have had black men in Jamaica say to me that I'm exotic, and I know that it's because I'm British.
Right.
And I know that that's what they mean. I don't so much mind that, but like when it's like, you know, the kind of young, like blonde hair, blue eyed guy from like Leicester who's like, wow, you're so exotic. I'm like,
hate it.
Girl. But also because first of all, no, I'm really fucking not. I'm really fucking not. You know, so, but also I just think it's a mad word to call anyone. I think it just kind of, I don't know, it kind of makes you feel like an alien.
Yes,
or
like an animal.
Yeah,
like they want to pet
actually,
you.
It's very animalistic.
Yeah.
Which is not cute.
No, absolutely not.
So anyway, sorry, I cut you, please.
No, you're good, you're good. So I really relate to like whenever you've spoken about being sexualized young, before you even understand
what it is and what it means.
Yeah. And you haven't even started to explore that in yourself.
No. And I was what I wouldn't call it this, but I was what my friends would call at the time a late bloomer. So I really wasn't a very sexual young girl. I wasn't talking about that stuff. I didn't care about that stuff. I definitely wasn't doing naughty things in the park, you know? That's where I grew up, everybody. So I was letting my friends take that and like, have those conversations. I just wanted to make music. So I think I kind of hid away. Like lunchtime and break time, break times I used to have my guitar lessons, my piano lessons, which my parents kind of like made me do. And now that I'm older, I'm unbelievably grateful for that, because I was really able to create my own little safe space, my own little world. And I actually loved it. I loved not being outside at break. And then lunchtime, I'd go to the music room and write songs. And that was kind of how I hid. I don't think I realized I was hiding until I got older. Yeah. And now I'm like, I was definitely hiding. I was hiding all the time, especially like if I had a day where my mum would like, I'd do a washout and a twist out and my hair was out in its natural form, which my hair kind of grows up and out. So I have quite a big afro. Those days I was in the music room because something was said or like somebody was putting something in my hair. I was always hiding in school, to be honest. I imagine if people from my school watch this, they'd probably be quite surprised. Because I was always also quite a positive Polly.
Yeah.
Always like had loads of friends. Honestly, loved a lot of the people that I went to school with, but I was hiding.
But also these, microaggressions as we know them now.
Yeah. We didn't know them then.
Didn't know what to call them.
No.
Brush it off.
Yeah.
Comments from boys or adults.
Yes.
Even.
I remember this boy once like rubbing my skin to like see if it would come off.
Classic.
Which was quite mad actually. And then I remember in 2020 when we had all of the BLM protests in London, he sent me a Facebook message apologising.
Oh damn.
Yeah, which was quite interesting, like quite an interesting conversation. But my school, I grew up in a town called Syston in Leicester. Love it, God, absolute. My that's my home. That's the place that grew me. I definitely wouldn't be this girl without that place. It's a very working class town, and I think the school that I went to, which I loved, had the best time. I was growing up with kids, I think, who maybe weren't that aware of world issues or social issues and like, speaking in a politically correct way or even just very political. I think as I got older, I realised actually, I'd say 90% of my mates from home wouldn't vote in a general election or wouldn't care to. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of where I grew up. So, and I really want to make a point of saying that really respectfully, because there is also something about those towns that is quite magical.
Yeah.
And like growing up with, boys who like leave school at 16 and go into these manual labor jobs and like really care about leaving and working and building a life for themselves. There's so much about that I really respect now that I'm kind of in a creative industry. But I think with that and with the kind of miseducation of young people in those sorts of places comes all the bad stuff. So that was all quite confusing as a kid. My body wasn't really attacked. It was more my skin. But then I suppose as a kid, anything physical, it all just kind of goes all together,
of course.
And then in the same breath now, the same boys that were calling me ugly and rubbing my skin were then into me because I started to grow boobs. And that's uber confusing. Because now you're not just looking at me like you're not looking at me anymore as the brown girl in class. You're now looking at me as the brown girl, but maybe she's kind of attractive because she has these boobs that no one else. That's so confusing.
And how did that make you feel about yourself?
To be totally frank, incredibly ugly. And it's weird actually because now as an adult, I still describe myself as a duckling when I was a kid. And I don't know if I put that on myself. I think that's just what I felt like. So that's how I describe myself at that age. Did you have a similar thing?
I felt different.
Yeah.
I felt like the odd one out.
Yeah.
I was so obsessed with like the thin white beauty standard.
Same.
Were you? Okay.
Yeah.
So I
Dream Matte Mousse. Sorry.
Who? Dream Matte Mousse.
Yeah. And they never had our shades. So I was always I remember my bestie Molly at the time, I was using hers. I was going to school looking like Casper.
Oh, babes, did you do the foundation lips?
Of course. And the like sweet fringe that like burnt all of my hair off.
Yes.
Like, yeah, I was obsessed with it as well. So I really get it.
Yeah.
Really.
And I think like I went the opposite to you in terms of I got into like male validation real young.
Really?
Because I thought I hated my body so much. I thought that was going to be the way to feel something good about myself. It was like, if this person is attracted to me, then maybe I'm okay. Yeah. Obviously that doesn't work.
Yeah.
And that's like fleeting and empty.
Yeah.
But that's the direction I went in.
I did that as well though.
Okay.
Just later.
Oh, right.
So like in my like late teens, I did that.
Yeah.
I'm also I'm really going through something at the minute because I have realized that in the last kind of 6 years, maybe a bit longer actually, I've only kind of had long-term relationships with white men.
Okay.
And I've been in therapy for 4 years. I didn't realize, and I'm realizing it now, and it's really hard for me to admit it actually, like out of my mouth, is like I've totally been seeking validation from white men because of my childhood. Mm-hmm. And because the only men that made me feel ugly were white men when I was a kid, I almost went the other way. And now I've been like, over the last few years, been finding myself really trying to seek that validation from them tell me I'm beautiful because for 18 years of my life, you told me that I was ugly. And my father's white. So that's also confusing because my dad is the best. And he loves my mum, my gorgeous, gorgeous mum who is black. So I don't have like, other than those kids, I don't have a bad representation of a white man in my life. I have a brilliant one. So I think I always was like, well, maybe I'm looking for my dad in men. But now I'm seeing that, no, it's not that at all. I've been trying to like heal that small part of me and that baby version of me. And now it's really funny because I have been kind of, now that I'm able to admit that and say that and really think about it, I'm realizing actually I've been closing myself off to a whole world of people who maybe I'm going to connect with more because of that. Part of me is like, that's amazing that I'm now seeing that, but I'm also really sad. And now I feel like I'm mourning my like childhood and like all the things that I maybe missed out on because I was so focused, so hyper focused on men seeing me as beautiful and a specific kind of man seeing me as beautiful. And also I feel like I'm mourning a bit of my 20s, you know?
Well, first of all, that makes complete sense.
Thank you.
Like fucking amazing that you've like therapized and like got to that.
Yeah.
And like analyzed it.
Yeah.
And I think also it goes to show like how deep those childhood judgments,
yes,
I guess, go.
Yeah.
We don't even realize that we're carrying them around and they're impacting one of the biggest parts of our life.
For sure, especially because I don't know, I think like the kind of like mixed race struggle is quite a difficult conversation to navigate because I think we're also in an industry where like people who look like us actually are super privileged in many ways. And like we've seen colorism and we see how it affects our industry. So what I've always not wanted to do is be the kind of like light-skinned champion, like look at all of this shit that I've had to deal with. Because I know that for my darker skinned sisters, that is like our realities are completely different. And like mine is probably to you, I'm sure, much easier. So I've probably pushed a lot of the stuff away in order to kind of not focus on it, you know?
Yeah.
And I think maybe now in private, I'm just able to have those conversations and it's making me realize actually, gosh, this is no, it's not even a little bit. This is really problematic. And I think it's really important that we start talking about it, even if we're just having these sorts of conversations and it's like, actually, this is very real. This has really affected me. How can I better deal with it? Do you relate, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's been really interesting for me. And I've been spending a lot of time in Jamaica, which is where my grandparents are from. And my aunties, my mum was actually born here. So my mum's a very South London girl. But so I've been spending more time there. And, you know, spending time with men, friends, spending time with women, just kind of hanging out and like spending time with my family, spending a lot of time at my grandma's house, just kind of really trying to understand myself. I remember I used to say to my mum all the time, like, where did my boobs come from, girl? Because you don't have them. So where did they come from? Because I need to know who I'm killing. And then I met my granny. And I said, oh. And so me and her, we've got really similar body shape. And I remember when I met her, it all made sense to me. And then I just suddenly felt really comfortable. And when I go to Jamaica, I wish that I could just like inject it. Like whatever I feel when I'm there, I really try and bring back with me.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Like, I love that you found that with your granny. I had kind of the same thing. I found an old photo of my grandma. She passed when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And she's like at the beach wearing a bikini. And I was like, oh,
that's my
body. Oh, damn, that is my body
it's
shape.
Crazy. Yeah.
But like, no one tells you that. Especially when you're young, especially when you grow up in a predominantly white area.
Yeah.
There's no like, oh, by the way, you're meant to look different.
Yeah.
Like actually you're genetically set up to look different. And that's gorgeous.
Yeah. So as a kid, it was a struggle. And then I think it probably got better when I went to, we had like a middle school. So we had year 7 till 9. Then everybody left and moved on. And I decided to move to Birmingham, which actually for me as a young dual heritage girl was incredible, because now I was looking at girls and boys who looked like me, who had the same complexion, who were darker, who were lighter, different mixes, all that sort of stuff. So actually I was thrust into a world that I was very excited to be in. And also, again, body shape. We were all different. We all looked different. Similarities, all that stuff. But I went and I studied dance. Random.
Okay.
Curveball.
I'm immediately thinking like a difficult place to be.
Difficult place to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I had like thrust myself into somewhere that felt more comfortable, but then under the umbrella, I thrust myself into a world that then made me feel really uncomfortable.
Right.
So now I'm in a class, and I was kind of then back with a lot of women who were much smaller.
Mm-hmm.
And I, again, just kind of then went back to feeling really different and big, actually.
Yeah.
I hate using words like that, but that actually is how I felt, to be honest.
I know from friends of mine that world, like dance, performing arts, like the diet culture and like the normalized disordered eating.
It's crazy.
It's
actually crazy.
Did you find that when you got there?
Yes. I can't actually, well, I don't think I noticed as much, again, just as a kid, but like, I can't, the amount of girls, friends and like just girls in my class who had eating disorders, and we didn't really realize, because again, I think even then it wasn't really talked about. So I remember the girls, we would eat our food at break, and then I remember the girls that would go to the bathroom. And now I'm older, I'm like, wow, there was nothing in place to like really, really help these girls.
How old were you then?
14.
Yeah.
So 14 to 18, that's what I was doing. And then I was kind of okay until I had one conversation. And I was 15, so it's my second year. I was 15 and I was in my ballet class, and I had this teacher who, interestingly, I was really close to through my time. So I never realized really that it was problematic until I left school. But I had this teacher, and I was really good at ballet and I loved it. And I kind of felt like if I wanted to dance, maybe that's what I would do. I also was obsessed with this dance company from America called Alvin Ailey. And a lot of those women, I think most of them were trained in ballet. They were incredible. It was like an all-black company. They all would have like brown and black leotards and the gorgeous brown tights that we didn't have yet. We still had the pink tights and the pink shoes. Yeah. And I was just obsessed with them. So I think I probably wanted to be like one of those girls. And they all had these gorgeous bodies. All of them looked different. Maybe it was big boobs, maybe little boobs, maybe bigger legs, whatever. Everybody looked different, and I loved it. Whereas I was in a much more kind of Cloneville of girls.
Yeah.
And I had this conversation with this teacher, and I said, I think I want to do ballet. I want that to be my focus. And she said, oh, honey, you can't do ballet if you look like that. And I don't think I knew what she meant, actually. Maybe I thought that she was talking about my body, but I don't know if I did. So I was kind of like, what do you mean? And we had this conversation that at the time felt like she was taking care of me. But she was talking about, but it came out that she was talking about my body and that I needed to lose some weight. And she said really clearly, you need to lose some weight if you want to do ballet. But she said that my boobs would never work. So I kind of asked her, what should I do about that? We talked about maybe getting a breast reduction, again, 15.
Wow.
And then the final thing was that she said, look, if you really are serious about losing weight, just start smoking. So at 15, I started smoking about 20 a day and not eating a thing.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. I can't, I mean, I can believe, but I can't believe that that's a trusted adult in your life.
Yeah, man, I can't believe it. I told this story recently in an interview, and as I was telling it, I was like, whoa, this is fucked. I don't know if I should be sharing this. But actually, I think it's incredibly important to share, because I definitely know and have heard that in those institutions and those environments, those conversations are still happening.
For sure.
So I basically was only eating what my mum would give me in the evening. And I was smoking. And then I was a smoker until 4 years ago. So I was smoking from 15 until I was 22. And it ruined my life. It completely ruined my life. It ruined my voice. I lost my voice for like a couple of years. I lost all the top end of my voice. I also now had an addiction to something that I still am kind of working through. I still am trying to kick an addiction that started when I was 15 because somebody told me that I should do that to lose weight. And it didn't work. I didn't lose any weight. It's really interesting to me that was something that was put on me, and then I just kind of stayed the same, because also your body needs nutrition and your body needs things to survive and move. And then as I got older and I started learning about how weight works and how your body stores fat to give you energy, all of that stuff, all the kind of, you know, PT nutritionist stuff, I realized that I'd just been basically really hurting my body.
So at that point, like you've gone through school and you're doing dance and you said that you felt like quite okay with your body image and how you were. Was it that conversation that literally like shifted everything?
Changed everything, completely changed the trajectory of my self-love journey, like completely. To this day, to be honest, like, because remember, like I you know, I've come to this new school. There's people that look like me. There's girlies with all different body types. We're all kind of loving ourselves, and it's a performing arts college, so we're all very expressive. Everyone's expressing themselves in the way they want to. Completely changed it, and that is how my, let's call it a journey. My journey of seeking validation from men through sex began when I was 16.
Okay, because your self-esteem had taken that.
It was in the bin. Yeah, it was in the bin for sure. And then I think from that point, it was all, so probably similar to you when we were chatting about it, it was probably all focused around men then and how men could make me feel better about my body.
Oh, patriarchy. Also, I feel like the smoking thing, it's that normalized message of you can do things that are harmful as long as it changes the way you look.
Yeah, which is crazy.
It is, and it's still such a message now.
Yeah.
And like people can pretend that, you know, they're concerned for your health and you should look a certain way because of your health.
Yeah.
But actually, when you look at it, no, you teach us to do whatever it takes to be thin.
Yeah.
Like to fit the beauty standard.
To fit the beauty standard, yeah.
It's not about health at all.
No, not at all. And yeah, I think that's the most unhealthy I've ever been, to be honest.
Well, yeah.
Because then also I think what happens is, what I realised was when I don't think I ever got okay with my body, to be honest, through that time.
But at that time, that's also when you like entered the industry, right?
Yeah. Well, I entered the industry when I was 13. I don't think I felt any of that stuff probably until that time, so like 15, 16. And then it was the shit online. Which was, yeah, do you know what? I actually do just feel like there was, particularly in my teens, kind of felt like it was coming from all angles. And also because you're having an internal dialogue with yourself. So, you know, you've got kind of hate coming from over there, something coming from over there, a comment coming from over there, or like, you know, wanting to like try on a friend's dress and then a friend being like, you're going to stretch it. Like all those weird, like little digs. And then the one that's happening already internally, because you're a teenager and that's what happens as you grow and you change, and then online. And then I really struggled through the last bit of school, I think. And then, you know, I'd fall out with friends and then that would, it was like, yeah, I just felt like 16 to 18, I just was like balancing, like stood on one foot. That's like, if I could like visually show myself, it was like constantly off axis. And I think a lot of that was because of kind of, yes, the stuff in school and all of that stuff, but then also being front facing and being public.
Babes, it's just,
yeah.
I just keep thinking like, it's just so many voices.
So many voices. Yeah.
So many, like you had so many layers and like teenage girlhood, like you said, the internal voice is already
huge,
confused, loud, like fractured.
Yeah.
And then you're layering everyone else's on top. So I guess like at that time, like what was your internal voice? Was it you? Was it them? Like, were you speaking to yourself kindly at all?
No, definitely not. It was probably a mix of both. And it's funny now because I don't really know how I turned out. And I'm going to say this with my chest. I don't know how I turned out so well-rounded. I'm going to put it down to my parents, to be honest, because with that sort of like, with those sort of mini worlds, I think I probably could have gone really far the other way. And somehow I didn't. And I also think I've just always been really open. And I think that that's helped me a lot because it's meant that I can have conversations like this and not be afraid of what you're going to think of me or what anybody here is going to think of me or what anyone watching is going to think.
because it's your truth. Like,
yeah. And I think as long as it's mine and I'm sharing it, well, there's nothing else I can give you, Bab. That's it. I just feel really comfortable in that. And I feel really comfortable admitting some of the stuff that maybe I've found hard to admit before. And I quit smoking. And so my quitting smoking story is another thing attached to body stuff.
okay, say more.
So we're moving on chronologically. So now I'm older. We've gone through the phase of seeking validation from men, and I did all of that in Birmingham, which was quite lovely actually, and the men were lovely and handsome. I got lots of experience. Then I moved to London at 17 and kind of hated it, moved back to Leicester, went through my little journey, had my first kind of major boyfriend, and then I came back to London at 20 and actually had a great time. Still receiving hate from men online and all that sort of stuff, but also hate from women online too about my body. And I think for me, it was always a focus on the fluctuation of my weight. Okay. I've always been a fluctuator, especially, you know, you add in things like the contraceptive pill or take it out, smoking, take it out, maybe a bit more drinking, take it out. My weight was always fluctuating. It always has since I was young.
Yeah. Again, completely normal. Just no one tells us.
Completely normal, as it does. Yeah. And then you're getting older, so things stay around. And I think the main conversation was always those like Mahalia then vs now posts where it was like pictures of me from before.
When you were a teenager.
A teenager.
Right.
And pictures of me now. Oh my God, I hate that she's big. Oh my gosh, why did she gain this weight? All that kind of stuff. And it was always these questions, which was always like, why has she done this to herself? And I'm like, bitch, what have I done to myself? What are you talking about? And I say bitch to men and women as well. It's not gender specific to me, that word. Like, what are you talking about? I've not done anything.
You're just living.
I'm living.
Growing up.
Yeah. Like, and also like there was a period of time actually when I was really sad. Probably COVID times, like 2020, and people were really noticing my weight changing, and I was gaining a lot of weight, and I was deeply sad. And I was a bit worried about myself, not because I was gaining weight, but more so just because of my relationship to food and my relationship to eating too much food or like not eating any food. Like watching my weight move around like that was freaking me out. And that was all down to my mental. So I was more worried about the state of my mind as opposed to the state of my stomach, you know? At the same time, I was kind of also, you know, posting my bikini pictures, being really comfortable in that. And then I was starting to see comments from women, which I think freaked me out the most. And it was always in relation to my boobs.
Okay.
Or like people worrying that like my back was hurting.
Worrying. Yeah.
I have to say, which one's my camera? Is it this one? I have to say, stop worrying about my back. My back is fine. Like my back actually is like doing really good. Like I'm about to get a tattoo on her next week. She's fine.
Hey.
My shoulders are fine. I'm not in pain. Like please, I need everyone to stop worrying. I need it to stop now.
But it's not real worry. Like you know,
it's not real worry.
It's not worry.
It's not. It's something to comment on, and it's you basically saying, "Oh honey," and I'm going, "Oh honey, nothing. My back's good. My boobs are good. They're the perkiest they've ever been." I stopped wearing like underwire bras.
Love.
About 6 years ago.
Oh, love that.
Because my mate she worked for like a bra lingerie brand, and she was like, I don't know if like this is a fact. I don't think it is, and I'm sure that I'm gonna say this, and then some doctors are gonna like stitch it on TikTok or something. When I was wearing bras, the pain that I was feeling in my shoulders and back, and I was wearing the correct size bras, the pain that I was feeling then was way worse than what I feel now. Now I wear soft bras. I like my boobs hanging the way that they're supposed to hang, their breasts. Yes. So they're also, my darling man, when you come and see them, it's not that different, you know? Because what I used to hate was kind of hoisting my boobs up to my chin. Yes. And then I'd take it off and be like,
oh my gosh.
Surprise!
I remember like being
a girl is so silly.
The layer of mechanics I used to go through for a night out.
Babe.
Like you'd have like the push-up bra, the inserts, the like racer back adjuster, and you'd literally have like welts on your. I'd come home and I'd be like, ouch, like
no, serious pain. Yeah,
my skin hurts.
Yeah. I used to get like really bad blood spots all on my shoulders, And I just was like, surely there's a way that's like better than it. Like, I don't need to be doing this to myself.
Mm-mm.
And I was really just getting like, I think what was happening was I was getting comments about my boobs online, negative comments from women, and then really weird comments from men. Unbelievably weird. Me having to like delete them. Because I was like, what do you mean you want my milk, sir?
Oh, Jill.
Like,
why?
Who dragged you up to say that on my page? So that was starting, and that wasn't very fun either, to be honest. Those sorts of strange comments. I have to say, on the side of this, I was also receiving a lot of love.
Yeah.
I think it's just that you kind of start to notice the negative comments more, and I think that's normal for everyone.
100.
So then what happened was, now I'm like 22 and I'm getting all these mad comments about my boobs, and I'm noticing it more and more. And as my weight's fluctuating, they're fluctuating. And I just keep noticing this hyperfixation on my boobs. I'm also in an industry where going under the knife and getting work done and kind of changing stuff that way is really normalized. So now I'm thinking, well, shall I get a breast reduction? So I go and see a doctor, and I go see this doctor, this actually a lovely man. Went and saw this lovely man, and he did all the marker pen stuff on my boobs, and he drew out how much he'd take out. And I was dead set, actually. I was dead set that I was going to do it. So I had 2 questions for him. My first question was, what do I need to do to prepare for something like a breast reduction? And my second question was, if I get a breast reduction, what happens to my milk ducts? Can I breastfeed when I have babies eventually? The answer to that question was maybe. And that was kind of enough for me to not want to do it. And it's funny because there are certain values that I have had in my life, just as a woman, like something like breastfeeding my children one day, that have always been really important to me. And I think that we are in a little bit of a weird time right now where there are certain things like that people don't really care about as much anymore.
Not as much as aesthetics.
Right. So I was going home and saying to my girlfriends, he said, I might not be able to breastfeed. And I had 2 friends who had babies and couldn't breastfeed after getting a reduction. And I was kind of hearing my girlfriends go, so? And I was going, really? Does that not bother you? And then I was going, shit, should that be bothering me? So then I run back to the guy and I'm like, okay, I've got my answer to that question. I don't care. So even my brain was changing.
Yeah.
And this is something that I've cared about forever. So then now I say to him, okay, so what do I need to do to prepare? And he says, do you smoke? And I said, yeah, I do. And he says, well, I can't operate on you unless you've quit smoking for 6 weeks.
Okay.
So he said, come back and see me in 6 weeks. So I said, cool. That day, I threw the cigarette pack in the bin. Wow. So I quit smoking. So I'm dead set. I'm going for this thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a little pair of double Ds, blah, blah, blah. And then I get home, quit smoking. 6 weeks go by. And I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was the quitting smoking, the fact that I could breathe again. All of the tar was coming out of me. I was running up the tube stairs and like having fun. I wasn't out of breath. I didn't want it anymore.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I got to quit smoking. Basically become really kind of energetic, because smoking also makes you super lethargic. I was energetic again, and I was like, oh, I love my body. And I've never thought about it since.
But did anything else happen in that 6 weeks? Like,
just quit smoking.
So what shifted in that time in terms of, I guess, your intentions as to like why you wanted it?
The quitting smoking was major. Because if we think about why it started, it was like a full circle moment. And I was like, whoa, the cigarettes are going in the bin. And I probably didn't realize that, yes, I started to have this effect on my body, and now I'm quitting and it's having this effect on my body again. And I'm kind of almost turning back into the 15-year-old girl again, who was actually really comfortable and fine. But also I had a conversation with my mom, and my mum, she actually cried when I told her that I wanted to get a reduction.
Oh, wow.
And she just said, please. She just said, please. She actually was going, please, baby, please don't do that, please. And she said to me, I'm worried that if you do it, something else is going to come up after. You're going to get rid of those lovely boobies that you have, and then it's going to be something else that you're going to want to change. And my mum has always had this thing that she's always said to us, that is just, I gave birth to perfect babies. You have 2 arms and 2 legs and 2 eyes that see and 2 ears that hear and a heart that feels. Please don't do that. So I didn't. But so I think she also probably did have an effect. My mum has such an effect on me in life. And everything I do and every decision I make, kind of run it past her. Every tweet that might get me in trouble, I run it past her. Every bikini pic, I run past her. I did a Savage Fenty lingerie bit, like little ambassador moment. Every picture I ran past her and my father. She is that person for me. So I think she probably had a huge effect on me in that moment. And I agree with her. You know, I was born perfect. And I still am. And it's like, why change perfection?
Absolutely. Oh, your mum. I mean, your mum sounds
She's
so
amazing.
wise.
She is.
And also so spot on with the like, okay, if you did that, there would be something else.
Yeah.
That's so, I mean.
And I think that's very real.
Very real.
Yeah.
I literally grew up with a list of when I'm old enough and when I have the money, I'm going to get this surgery, that surgery.
Oh.
And it was never ending. And like, I know that if I went down that route, I would never stop, because also the standard is constantly shifting. I literally I probably would have had the fat sucked out of my butt and then put back in 5 years later.
Yeah. Saved in the freezer.
Exactly. It never ends.
Yeah, I know.
She was spot on.
Yeah, she was. And I just think I think it's so sexy to just get really comfortable with yourself and really the conversation around self-love is such a complex one. But then also I'm like, it doesn't have to be. You just got to get comfortable with yourself and totally fine that when I go on a jog, that's how my boobs are going to move. And when when I'm running down the beach in my bikini, it might pop out. These are the cards I was dealt.
You did a whole tour braless, didn't you?
Yeah. And I sold merch saying you don't have to wear a bra. Because you bloody do. Sorry, I don't know why I go into that accent when I'm really excited.
You're making a point.
You just don't. You actually. My thing in everything is who said? Who said? Who told me that I have to do that? I've got to wear this constructed piece of wire to hold my boobs in to make them more to make you feel more comfortable out. And no. That is no. I'm who said that I have to do that? And also, I definitely think that women, we need to do better at allowing our other women to just feel comfortable in themselves. When I'm on holiday, and I'm wearing my bra, my boobs look great, and the guys are looking, and that's fine. I'm kind of I don't know if it's fine, but I'm used to it.
Yeah.
I don't so much mind the guys. It's kind of whatever. But it's sometimes when I get certain looks from women who are either looking at me why are you not wearing a bra? And I've had women be you should put a bra on. And I'm like, who said? And also, girl, I don't like that. I don't like that. I am doing what I want to do in this moment. And I would like you to support me in this moment. I would like that because the men already are doing what they're doing. Can we just stand together? Please.
Yeah. Can we not recognize that we are actually on the same team?
On the same team. And if you ever get these boobs and you want to let them hang loose, I will support you. Through that.
The whole who said thing. Who did say? Do you remember the first, I guess, voices that came into your consciousness about your boobs and how they should be?
I don't think I've opened that box yet. I don't know if I'd have to go find it.
Yeah. Fair.
Sometimes when I'm trying to find real moments of trauma, I do feel like I'm literally wading through my brain library.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Do you know what? The boobs, I don't know. All I know is that it's been a topic of conversation in my comments for years. And I don't know why people are so interested in them, to be honest. For me, they serve a purpose.
Yeah.
To be honest. And again, that probably goes back to what I was talking about in relation to the breast reduction. These boobs for me are for when I have my babies and when those babies need feeding. That's kind of how I see them. Right now, they're like my little fun jugs, When I was 17, they would get me a bottle of Glens. When I was 18, they would get me into the club quicker. That's kind of, they've always been a bit of fun for me. And now I like love them because they remind me of something that I wanted to get rid of that I don't want to anymore. They remind me of me coming out of something that felt really problematic and scary and not that fun. And now they're these like beacons of love for me.
It sounds like you've like nailed body neutrality.
Yeah. I'm just like,
It's what it is.
This is what it is.
Yeah.
Take it or leave it, Bab. There's 8 million of us in the world. You don't have to like them. Like, it's just, do you know what? Jamaica does this to me. And it's unsurprising hearing myself speak like this now with you, because yeah, like I just got back and this is what I'm talking about. This is the version of me that I want. It is what it motherfucking is. I don't need you to like my body. My body doesn't like you, my brother. Do you know what I mean? My body don't like you. Like, I'm at the point in my life where it's just like, the people that are here with me, loving me, supporting me, uplifting me, and vice versa, they're the people that I want. Mm-hmm. The other ones I don't care about. The ones in the comments talking about milk, brother, respectfully, you need to seek help because, geez.
Truly. Get to therapy, come on.
But other than that, like, it is what it is. I'm really fine. And I really need people to understand, like, you are fine. There are people dying. There are people struggling. Like, we want to... The thing for me is, I'm like, really? The thing that you cared about today was the fluctuation of my weight?
Right.
Like, that's what's on your mind? That's what you want to comment on? I find that crazy.
I've been talking about my body online for like 10 years.
Right.
Every single like minor little change has been pointed out to me. And I feel like it's something that I've said again and again of like, you actually don't have to do this.
You don't have to do that.
You don't have to track my bodily changes because I'm not. Yeah. I'm trying not to. Like, I'm trying to just live my life and take care of my mental, and whatever happens here is an accident.
Exactly.
It's a side effect. Yeah. It is whatever.
Love that. It's a side effect.
I think it's different, right? Because I signed up, I guess, to be an advocate for body positivity.
Yes.
Like, I came in from the start and I was like, this is what I'm talking about. I'm showing my body. I'm showing the fluctuations and everything, and we're embracing it all. But it's so different for you because you did not sign up to be a body positive advocate. You're an artist and you look the way you look. And because you are public, suddenly it's almost like you've had the expectation put onto you.
Yeah, I do feel that sometimes, actually. And like knowing what to say, and like sometimes I'm like, I don't know what to say to that or how to answer that. Or...
Yeah. Can I ask, with the body positivity stuff, obviously, I mean, I love the way you respond to people sometimes. You know how to clap back. Have you seen
me? Oh God.
What did
sometimes
you do?
I really do just no. I was just thinking, like, have you seen me comment back to people?
I think you nail it. Like,
I try to.
I love that you stand up for yourself, because in doing so you stand up for so many of us. But again, there's me putting onto you that you are the advocate for us.
Yeah.
When you haven't necessarily asked to be that. So how do you feel about people seeing you as that? Is it something you're like proud to be? Is it...
Definitely proud. Okay. No, definitely. I always knew that alongside my kind of musical career, I wanted to be somebody who spoke and who said things and spoke about the shit she believed in. And I definitely want to, like, when I like leave this beautiful world, I want people to remember that I said things and I wasn't afraid to speak about things. But what I would like, I think sometimes the responsibility can feel really heavy, because also, you know, I think now around the conversation of self-love, I think people also, like, you know, for us curvy girls, I think, like, when I got in the gym and I was like, I really want to get in the gym. I really want to, like, I want to feel strong. I want to tone. Yeah, I kind of want a bubble butt, like, and I want to do all of that naturally in my own way. Then I think I was quite confused by the, like, slightly negative commentary on that. Like, why are you in the, like, you know, I thought that you loved your body. I'm like, I do love my body. I just want to go gym. Like, I kind of want to, I want it to be okay if like I want to change something. And I also don't want that to be judged, because I think that's also part of it. Like, it goes back to just letting us do what we want to do with our bodies, and like just allow us some grace and some space and some room. You know, if I want to like I might turn around tomorrow and decide that I want some like guns on my calves. Like, I just want calves that like stick out. That's what I want. That's what I'm going to go do. I'm not going to lie. When I do this, I'm not doing it now because I don't want to get embarrassed. But when I do that, yeah, I want a little pop. What? That's so sexy. Like, that doesn't mean that I hate my body. And I think that, I'm not going to lie, I think that conversation, especially to Black women, happens too often. It's the same conversation around hair. Like, what? Because I wear a wig. I don't like my hair. Girl, my hair's very pretty. But right now, I want to wear this red 22-inch wig and post up outside in Nottingham. What? What?
You contain multitudes.
Yeah.
And you should be allowed to.
I want to be able to do that. That's all about expression. It goes back to expression. If that's what I want to do, let me do it. Why are you pressed about my decision in life?
I feel like the conversation about you not being allowed to change, or you not being allowed to like make decisions about your own body, like that's such a nuanced one, because I think we need to recognize you never came out, stood up and said, I stand for never changing your body. I will always be this size and weight. Like, you never made that statement.
No.
So for people to then put that expectation on you is just unfair. Is just unfair. And I do get it. I think there's a lot of talk at the moment, like within body positivity, of, you know, we've lost a lot of plus size representation. There's not as many conversations happening. And I feel like I understand almost a feeling of grief, because it felt like things were getting better. And I get it, like when you lose like someone who you look up to as like a figure of inspiration and representation, like, yes, you're allowed to feel sad about that, but you're also not allowed to project your shit onto them as an individual, because they are still allowed to do whatever they are going to do with their body.
100%. And everybody has to take responsibility for their lives. You cannot, it's not their responsibility. And I think that that's a major conversation that needs to start happening. Like, bro, you cannot be angry at Lizzo for losing a bit of weight. Why are you angry? And it just goes back to all of it. It's like, let the woman, she looks gorgeous all the time anyway, in all of her forms, however she wants to look, however she feels. Listen, when a person is deeply confident, that it exudes out of them. It comes out of their pores. You see it. That's what I like seeing. For me, it's not even about size or shape. I just like seeing somebody really, really love themselves. I think it's beautiful. And I think that's what we're all kind of aiming for. That's what we should be looking at. The hyper focus on like women and their bodies changing, I think is so unfair, like so unfair and so destructive.
It's complex, because I've been that person,
right?
Because I've been the like, oh, I hate that person's lost weight. That's another one that
I think I have too.
But I think when you really dig into it, it is not about your feelings towards the individual. It's not that you're angry at the individual. You're angry at the industry or the system. It's because we've lost a bit of representation and now there is none. So actually what we need is for the doors to open so that more representation can come through. And that one individual, they can do whatever they want with their body.
Yeah.
Because the pressure shouldn't all be on them. And that's the problem. If we had more, if there were more fat, Black superstar singers out there, so much pressure wouldn't be on Lizzo to be this like one beacon of, you know, diversity and representation.
Yeah.
It's misplaced anger, right? You're not really angry at the individual. It's at the industry and the system and the fat phobia that is in all of it.
You should be my therapist. Because I really needed the help there.
So you have been on a journey.
Yeah.
You have been through so much with your body image. Where have you started to find the confidence that literally like shines out of you now? Where has that come from?
A few places. I have a fucking incredible team of girls around me. And I like being around girls. Like, you know, it's nice. They're brilliant. we all uplift each other in our own ways, but they really make me feel strong and like ready to take on any man and any day. I'm also single, newly single.
Congrats.
Thank you. Which has come with its own like craziness and like its own heartbreak and grief. But it's doing something for me internally that I think I probably needed and was really craving. And I'm finally in a place where like I'm not seeking validation from anybody. Definitely not men. I'm just having a really nice time. I'm like waking up and making my breakfast and putting on my music and dancing in my house. Don't know if I can say this, but my vibrator is my best friend.
Okay, yes, we're going to talk recommendations.
We call it vibing in my group.
You vibe? You
like,
tell your group that you vibe?
Sometimes, like, okay, guys, you need to leave now because I need to have a vibe.
Oh, love. That's true friendship.
True friendship. So I'm like really falling in love with me and the bits of me and how I can give myself love and pleasure and support and all that stuff. But like, honestly, at the center of everything, it's been Jamaica and my mum and looking at old photos of my grandma and meeting incredible women out there and seeing the strength and power that women have out there and the way they carry themselves and the way they talk about themselves, especially in relation to men. I love it. And just being there and like not having all the pains and troubles of Western beauty standards, not feeling all of that weight and just allowing my body and myself to be free. So I will be spending more time there because I need that all the time. And then I'll bring it back to London and I'll show it off for a bit here. And then I'll go back and get it back. And also there's something so incredible about touching into your heritage. And I think for most of us kids, either second gen or third gen, born here, especially if then you are kind of dual heritage and then so you look different to your parents or your grandparents. Like, I think it's a journey that we should all go on. I think it's incredibly beautiful and incredibly important to tap into that, to tap into your heritage, your ancestry, everything. And I'm definitely on my own journey right now. And I feel so seen. I feel so seen. And like, I even feel like I'm seeing myself more than I ever have.
I feel like that just goes to show that the way we feel about our bodies and ourselves isn't just something that like we make up.
No.
Like, it's surrounding us.
Yeah.
It's the context that we're in and the environments and what we're seeing. And like for you, just being out there, literally just being surrounded by women who look like you.
Yeah. Just being myself as well. Like, no difference. Like when they're trying to get me to shout at them in patois, I'm like, no, girl, that's not how I talk. Or like when we're all joking around, or like, I don't know, just there was a moment on my last trip where I was sat having breakfast with all these people who are now kind of like my little group of friends in Jamaica. And I was looking at all of them like, I've never felt like this before. Never felt like this. And because Jamaica's mix up, everybody's dual heritage. Everybody's got something different about them. And so we're all looking at each other. I tell you what it is. We're all on a level playing field. And I haven't felt that before. And I don't feel that all the time in London and in my industry. And definitely didn't feel it in school. It's just nice to sit with people and not have to say anything because we all know we're linked in this way, you know? And I love out there that no one is dicing up heritage or like talking about half or quarter. How can you quartify? That's not even a word.
I never want to hear the word
do that. I never want to hear that again. No. Like, I'm not half anything. I know that because my mum is Jamaican, which means that she is a lot of things. So I love being with those people, and I love that they just say, I'm Jamaican. And then when I say, yeah, but like my dad's white too, like, and then they go, girl, you're Jamaican. And I'm like, thank you. Because for me, I was brought up to say that. I was brought up to say that I was black. I was never brought up to say that I was mixed. Even my dad, my lovely white dad, would be like, girl, you're black. In every conversation, if everything goes to shit, if they split us half and half in this world, you are black. And that is what you are, and you need to carry that with you. It's on you. So I don't like people telling me what I am. And that's why I don't like people comment on my body. I really don't give a shit though. Like, honestly, if we're going to finish this chat correctly, I really don't give a shit. And that's why when you ask me why I'm open and why I'm able to do this, yes, I cry. And I mourn the girl that I was when I was a baby. And I mourn the innocence of just being able to love my body and be silly. I definitely am upset that I didn't have more girls who looked like me when I was a kid, but I would not be who I am today without it. So I don't give a shit. Keep them coming.
That we couldn't end on anything better. Keep it coming. You got this. I'm so grateful that you came here and had this chat with me. You are a treasure.
Thank you. So are you. It was lovely. It's
Adore
comfy
you.
too.
I know. We're cozy.